Hello everybody, this is Jane again with GCSE revision tips for unseen poetry from No Tears Tuition. So you will have looked at the previous video and you know what your expectations are for your exam question, and we're looking at paper 2, Modern Text and Poetry. If you remember, this was how to leave the world that worship should, and I asked you if you would present some notes for me that you might be able to do in the first 5 minutes of your exam. So I'm going to show you some of the notes on the screen now, and I'm going to begin with identifying the sonnet form and thinking about the traditional sonnet, or looking at the 8 lines, then 6 lines of that particular poem, and the meter as iambic pentameter. So remember that you're focusing on why the poet might use that. So you're also looking at the voice from this poem. Is it conversational, encouraging, commanding, telling? And we're still thinking about that word how. So how does the regularity of the rhythm add to this poem? Does it make you think about the idea of being tightly bound by the creation of the fax and the phone and the email systems? When you're thinking about voice, think about whether you believe there is a tone beneath all of the imagery, because actually you might consider whether the voice is telling you that you can't get away from all of these communication systems. Also think about the stanzas in terms of the first stanza focusing on the imperatives and what it is that we have to do, and the second stanza suggesting almost a standing back from those ideas and thinking about nature. So I've added there to the plan the idea of the sky, sand, air and the waves, and I like the simile like sheep. Are we like sheep, suggesting we follow the crowd, or are you going to focus on the peaceful imagery of the sky, the sand, the air and the waves, and how that's juxtaposed with the instantaneous idea of those fireworks? So you've got that flash of the glorious fireworks. Can we get away from this man-made life? Did you make a decision about whether you thought the poet was telling you you could, or whether you thought you could? And I'm going to be asking you to make sure that you pick from the main box of imagery, simile, personification, adjectives, verbs, nouns, imperatives, the second person, and perhaps the informality of part of those verses. I like the idea of the emails fly like panic tiny birds, so I would probably focus on that panic there. But the message of the telegram in the second verse did suggest that life used to be less hectic. I don't know how you feel about that. It's something you need to think about, and make sure that you have some idea of what you think the two stanzas are suggesting, whether the first stanza is overwhelming communication and the poet is actually commanding, and whether the second stanza is suggesting we can get away from it, or confirming that can't. So make sure that you have your plan ready for me, and then I will look at that before we start to begin to write. And that's the end of our video for today. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye.